of Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawk. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
And the Tigers will sweep the series, and Rick Porcello goes the distance.
Brandon Moss hits it in the air. This is going to do it. Back-to-back complete game shutouts for Rick Porcello.
Look out, pretty Ricky.
After a fantastic first half, tonight Rick Porcello makes his first start of the second half. He will do so in search of his league-high 13th win. Tonight we bring you Game 2 in this 3-game series featuring the Tigers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Ron Allen, glad to have you with us. A thrilling win for the Tigers last night. They held on for a 1-run victory over the Diamondbacks, and Rick Porcello gets the shot tonight, Rod. And what can you say about Rick? He seemingly has taken that next step now.
Well, he already has 12 wins. Clearly one of the better pitchers in the American League the first half of the season, getting the ball for the very first time in the last 10 days. So that's always a concern with the sinker baller. I don't think it'll be an issue, but I had to mention that. Take a look at the wins. He ranks first there. Lots of double play ground outs. 49% of the balls put in play against Porcello are ground balls. Just a wonderful season so far for Rick Porcello with the fastball, curveball, changeup. And one of the things that really sticks out for me as far as Rick Porcello is concerned, left-handers are hitting only .240 against Rick.
Well, you know, one of his best friends these days might be Ian Kinsler because of the way he plays second base. Kinsler made another great play last night at second base, but he's been a phenomenal two-way player this year for the Tigers.
No doubt about that. He take a back seat to guys in the American League the last couple of years. That would be Robinson Cano and Dustin Pedroia of the Boston Red Sox, and rightfully so. Those two guys are really good players, but Ian Kinsler, in his first tour of duty in a Tigers uniform, made an all-star team. He does it all offensively, hits, doubles, multi-hit games, and he's only made 2 errors from that second base position. You brought it up. Rick Porcello said one of the biggest differences here this year for him is the fact that Ian Kinsler playing second base, Suarez playing shortstop. Those guys gobble up every single ground ball.
All right, Tigers had some power going early in the ballgame last night. Torrey Hunter hit another home run. His last 2 weeks have been awfully good.
Torrey was slowed down in the month of June primarily because he became a pull hitter. Last couple of years, he batted .300 in his illustrious career for the very first time. And in the month of June, he was pulling everything to left field. So he got back to the basics. He started driving some balls the opposite way, which would be right field. And that forced pitchers into coming back inside to Torrey Hunter. Take a look at his numbers. .383 batting average in his last 15. He's trotted around the bases 5 times and 18 RBIs, and he's really a leader, not only on the field, but off the field. He's always smiling. He's always just keeping the team loose. He's been a really good player in the 2 years he's been here.
Hey, stay with us. We plan on having more fun here tonight. Game 2 in the series on the way after a short break. Back to the Coliseum Studios in Shannon Hogan. Tigers powered their way to a win in Game 1. What's on tap tonight for Game 2? Stay with us. It's coming up next. Tonight get a blast of cool air as they walk in. Why? Because it's 111 degrees outside. It is 80 degrees inside, and the Tigers are getting set to take on these Diamondbacks here in Game 2. The Tigers starting lineup tonight presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers, and it looks like this. It'll be Jackson, Kinsler, and Cabrera in your top 3 spots. Victor Martinez at first base. J.D. Martinez back in there tonight, and he has really been hitting the ball well on the road lately. Torrey Hunter is in right field. Bottom 3 of Avila, Suarez, and Rick Porcello batting 9. They are facing the right-handed offerings of Chase Anderson.
Chase Anderson has a pretty good fastball. He'll top out at about 94 miles an hour. Most of his fastballs right around 91. Really likes his changeup. He'll throw changeups to right-handers and left-handers. Only has one breaking ball. That would be the curveball.
And so here we go. The first pitch of tonight's ball game is inside to Austin Jackson, who's starting things off. It'll be Jackson, Kinsler, and Cabrera in the top 3 spots for the Tigers. A.J. homered to the ball game last night, and he shoots this one fair down the right field line. Maybe extra bases. Let's see. Parra gets it back in quickly and holds him to a leadoff single.
Parra is an arm in right field you do not want to challenge. Jackson knows the scouting report on him and therefore didn't try to stretch that single into a double. Real nice start for Jackson. He's been money in that leadoff spot since the calendar turned to July for the Tigers.
3rd hit in the series now for Jackson. And Parra got over there quickly enough to hold him to a leadoff single. Here's Ian Kinsler. Tigers last night got off to a pretty quick start. They scored 2 in the second, 1 in the third, racing out to a 3-0 lead. Ian last night 1 out of 4, batting .293 with 11 home runs. And he looks at strike 1 from Anderson. Kinsler 37 multi-hit games this year, good for 4th in the American League. He's got a leadoff single. Jackson to work with. Austin has stolen 9 this year. And now Anderson steps off. Tigers come into play this evening, 55-41, starting the 7-game road trip with a win last night. The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and it's 0-2 on Kinsler. Anderson, 26 years old, hails from Wichita Falls, Texas.
Here's that changeup that he'll feature a lot today. He'll go fastball, changeup, curveball, but loves that changeup to the right-handers.
Well, last year, Baseball America ranking it the best changeup that the Diamondbacks had in their minor league system. Here's the 0-2. Kinsler looks at a ball outside. 1-2 the count on Ian.
Tigers have the kind of team, once time through the lineup, if they notice that he is going to throw that changeup quite a bit, a couple of their veteran hitters, they'll start to sit on that pitch. And the Tigers veteran hitters, when they sit on a particular pitch, they don't usually miss it.
Kind of like they did on the breaking ball last night from Nuno.
Correct.
1-2. That'll get back to the screen. Kinsler this year 53 RBIs, became an all-star again. He was a late addition to the all-star team. And deservedly so. Every year, every single year, there are players that are called snubs because they did not make it. Kinsler initially had to be a snub, but eventually was named to the team. Jackson measuring his lead. AJ's been caught 4 times this year with his 9 steals. The 1-2. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Anderson comes in at 6-4, his 11th start of the season. He was really rolling in the minor leagues prior to his call-up. Montero flashing the signs. Jackson draws the throw.
We talked about this last night. The Diamondbacks hurt as much as any team in the majors with their starting rotation out for the season.
Yeah, and because of that, Kirk Gibson's team is 15th in pitching in the National League. Only the Rockies have a higher ERA in the NL. The 2-2 is line foul down the left field line. We'll get back into the seats in a hurry. Kirk Gibson is looking for 4 more victories to tie Bob Melvin for the all-time lead in victories as a Diamondbacks manager. It's 4 shy. Now Anderson ready again with the 2-2. And another ground ball foul this time down the third base line. Anderson has had somewhat of a rocky up and down, I should say, roller coaster season. Won his first 5 decisions, then he lost 4 straight. Another toss back. Jackson back in at first base. 8-pitch at bat here for Kinsler. Tigers would love to do what they did last night, get off to the early start. And again the 2-2 in the dirt, blocked there by Montero. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So a sleepy start here for Chase Anderson.
In an early decision for Tigers manager Brad Ausmus's 3-2 count. He's got some speed on first base, and Jackson, does he allow him to take off on this pitch from Anderson? My guess is he does.
We'll see if AJ is on the move. Anderson this year has been one of those guys that typically has been around 100 pitches in the 5th and 6th as the runner goes. A bouncing ball to short. It's played by Gregorius, and he'll throw Kinsler out. The runner advances.
I talked about Gregorius last night. He reminds me of a young Pokey Reese. He can really pick it at shortstop.
He's got some good range, good throwing arm.
He's got that rangy body too. About 3-4 steps over, backhands this ball, goes down to one knee, comes up, fires a strike, and back across the diamond. You remember Pokey?
I remember Pokey.
He was a good player. Started out as a shortstop, then finished up as a second baseman.
Here is Miguel Cabrera, who last night was 2 out of 4. Leads the American League, 76 RBIs.
And Brad Ausmus put Jackson on the move, therefore they stayed out of a potential double play.
And Cabrera backs out on a pitch inside. 1 ball to no strikes.
First curveball of the evening that Anderson has thrown.
Well, Miguel this year in these situations has been among the best in the American League. 375 with runners in scoring position. And again, Montero has to go down to block one. 2 balls and no strikes.
That's a real nice block there by Montero. It's a breaking ball that somehow he was able to get over in front of and knock down. He was an all-star this year.
So now Cabrera sitting on a 2-0 count here with a man at second base. 1 out just underway here at Chase Field. Game 2 in this 3-game series between the Tigers and the Diamondbacks. Here's the 2-0. Ground ball left side, base hit. Jackson coming to third. Dave Clark waving him home. Trumbo's throw is cut off. It's an RBI single for Miguel Cabrera. And the Tigers are out to a quick 1-0 lead.
You couldn't draw it up any better if you're the Tigers. Jackson gets on with a single, gets to second base on the Kinsler ground out, and the game's best hitter gets a hanging breaking ball on a 2-0 count and rips it to left field. But Dave Clark, very aggressive, sending Jackson home, even though Jackson had to hold up to make sure that ball got past the shortstop, Gregorius. Miggy just loves hitting in this yard anyway.
Yeah, he does.
Well, what yard does he not like hitting in?
Perhaps the Grand Canyon. All I can think of right now.
I'm
not sure that could hold him either.
I've heard Comerica Park called the Grand Canyon on occasion.
Here's Victor Martinez. Jackson scores the run. Tigers lead 1-0. Victor playing first base again here tonight. And he skies this one in the air to left center field. Pretty well hit. Trumbo is under it. And Cabrera retreats back to first base.
Let's take a look at the Arizona Diamondbacks starting defense, brought to you by Tim Hortons. We told you about Parr in the outfield. He has a lot of assists. He won a Gold Glove in 2011, also 2013. Goldschmidt won a Gold Glove last year. .993 fielding percentage for their very talented first baseman.
Bring up J.D. Martinez now with 2 outs. J.D. in the lineup tonight, came on as a pinch hitter in last night's ball game, hitting .328. 13 home runs. And J.D. saw quite a bit of the Diamondbacks in his days in Houston over in the National League. Before the Astros, became a member of the American League, and now a spot on the schedule for the Tigers every year. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it's swung on and missed.
Good fastball there by Anderson. A little late life on that 92 two-seamer that ran in on the hands of J.D. Martinez.
Well, Martinez had a terrific month of June. He has followed that up with another really strong month of July. .365 for J.D. And the 1-1. We'll get back out of play, 1-2. Martinez, just one of a group of Tigers outfielders that have been very good. Martinez getting the call tonight, really on a nightly basis. I don't think Brad Ausmus can go wrong with who he throws out there.
He can't. Rajay had a couple hits yesterday.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Down he goes, and that'll be it for the Tigers. First strikeout for Chase Anderson. Tigers get a run on 2 hits. Merlin once again tonight, before this contest started, brought the lineup card out for the Tigers, and you'll remember Jabba was bringing it out when the Tigers had that long winning streak. Then they kind of lost a few games, and now Jabba's bringing it back out again. 3rd straight night for Chamberlain. They've won the last 2, so well, he's just going to keep doing it until the Tigers lose. Starting lineup for Arizona, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Peralta, Hill, and Goldschmidt in the top 3 spots. Montero, Trumbo, and Parra in the middle, and then Prado, Gregorius, and Chase Anderson, your bottom 3. They are facing Rick Porcello, presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Porcello's been outstanding this year. Fastball, curveball, changeup throws, lots of breaking balls and changeups in fastball counts. He's won 12 games already this season.
And right now is working with a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the first. It'll be David Peralta leading it off, and he takes strike 1 from Porcello.
It's been 10 days since the last time Porcello toed the rubber. He got the ball in Kansas City, that final series before the break.
The 0-1 is low, 1 ball and 1 strike. It's one of the things starting pitchers have to deal with coming off the break. They know they're going to, for the most part, be with extended rest. Anderson, the Diamondbacks starter, on 14 days rest. And Porcello 10 days. That's grounded foul.
They say the Diamondbacks a little gun shy, and rightfully so. With a lot of their younger pitchers, they're backing off some of those guys. They don't want too many innings to pile up due to the fact that they've been decimated with injuries so far this year.
Yeah, and Kurt Gibson has said that Chase Anderson is one of those guys. 1-2 the count on David Peralta. Swing and a miss, and Porcello strikes out his first batter tonight.
Beaumont Health System will sponsor the starting defensive alignment for the Detroit Tigers. J.D. Martinez in left, Jackson in center, Torrey Hunter's in right field, Suarez, Kinsler up the middle, Miggy and Victor on the corners. And the Tigers playing some pretty good defense in the month of July. They've only committed 2 miscues.
Here is Aaron Hill. A couple of hits in last night's ball game. Finished 2 out of 4, scored a run. Rick works quickly and misses inside. 1 ball, no strikes. 6-game hitting streak now for Aaron Hill, the former Toronto Blue Jay. Here's the 1-0. 2-0 the count.
This is a new Rick Porcello that Aaron Hill is seeing, not the same Porcello he went up against when he was playing for the Toronto Blue Jays, but yet Porcello still had a lot of success against Aaron.
2-0 was hammered high in the air. Deep into left field, to the track, to the wall, and that ball is gone. It's out of here. A home run for Aaron Hill, and the Diamondbacks have tied the ball game.
So much for that success that Porcello has had against Hill.
Sometimes the numbers just don't mean a whole lot. And for Hill, his 8th home run of the season.
The two-seam fastball that Porcello didn't quite get on top of. A lot of east to west movement that kind of went right in the happy zone of Aaron Hill, and he lifted and separated and drove it out of here.
And the perils of falling behind in the count. It's also RBI 46 as Goldschmidt stands in.
That also cost Chase Anderson in the first inning, falling behind Miguel Cabrera. 2 balls, no strikes.
Goldschmidt doubled in the ball game last night, his only hit. Foul back.
For the most part, they stayed away from Goldschmidt in last night's game. The one time that Verlander did try to come in on him with a fastball, he hit a double down in the left field corner. He's got a quick bat inside.
18 homers this year, 65 driven in. And Rick just missed there, 1-2.
He also stands well off the plate, which means he doesn't like that fastball inside. So he creates enough room for himself to get to it.
Bouncing ball left side of the infield. Cabrera on the charge there. Throw is up the line, but a good tag by Victor Martinez. 2 gone.
Miggy playing third base like he really hasn't missed a beat. He's only been over there 3 times this year, in the LA series, the San Diego series, and last night in the opener here in Arizona.
Brad Ausmus said that Castellanos probably would play 1 game at third base in this series, but he kind of backed off that statement today, saying, well, I'm not so sure right now. Cabrera has handled that position well, and this does give him an opportunity to keep Cabrera and Martinez in the lineup. Here is Miguel Montero, batting .260. Strike 1 from Porcello. 1-1 ball game. The home run by Hill has tied the game. 0 for 4 with an RBI last night for Montero. He's batting in the cleanup slot. And the 0-1. Strike called up at the right hand, goes Field and Culbreth. Montero not a fan of that last call. Here's the 0-2. 1-2 the count on Montero. Porcello won his last start before they break, beating Kansas City. Gave up just 1 run in 7 innings in that contest. It was win number 12. A win here tonight would be a league high 13th for Porcello. And the 1-2. Checked it. And there's no appeal. They want the appeal. Now they finally get it, but Brian Knight said he did not go. 2-2 the count. Like a strike anyway.
It sure did. Right down the middle.
Check swing should have had nothing to do with it. Here's the 2-2. Now 3-2 on Montero. Waiting on deck, Mark Trumbo for the Diamondbacks. Full count on Miguel Montero. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Couple of strikeouts for Porcello. They get a run on the home run by Hill. When we go to the second, Torrey Hunter will get things started for Detroit.
One tie here from Arizona, and here's our T-Mobile game changer. We told you Tigers have a quartet of outfielders that have been sizzling hot in the month of July. Austin Jackson sits at 357, Torrey 365, J.D. Martinez and Rajay Davis also have been on fire this month, and that's why the Tigers, well, they've played some pretty good baseball, and they really have played good baseball away from Comerica Park. They have the game's best record on the road.
Well, Torrey's going to start things off here in the second. It'll be followed by Avila and then Suarez. The Tigers win last night here. Ran their road record to 29-16.
Is that good?
That's good. Hunter looks at a ball inside as we get things started here in the second.
Well, for Torrey, you pretty much know you're going to get a fastball here now from Anderson on the 1-0 pitch. Back-to-back breaking balls and a nice bender.
1 ball, 1 strike. Chase Anderson allowed a single in the first. A ground ball moved up Jackson and then a base hit by Cabrera. Scored the run. The Tigers then gave that back up on the home run by Hill in the bottom of the first. 2-1 the count on Hunter. Torrey sits safely in his last 4. And the 2-1 pitch. It is high, 3-1. Anderson was drafted a couple of times by the Twins, but did not sign. There's a swing and a miss. Eventually ended up at Oklahoma to play baseball there, and was drafted out of Oklahoma by the Diamondbacks. 9th round in 2009. Swing and a miss. He comes back to strike out Torrey. 1 out here in the second. That is his second consecutive strikeout.
And good fastball here thrown by Anderson. And right over the heart of the plate, but right by Torrey Hunter.
1 gone here is Alex Avila. Holiday started last night. Avila gets the call here tonight. 6 for 18 career against Arizona, including a home run. And like most American League teams, the Diamondbacks will play him to pull. They have shifted to the right side of the infield. Aaron Hill is in short right. Gregorius, the shortstop, swings around the bag. Shoot that one the other way. No balls, 2 strikes on Avila. 229 batting average for the Tigers catcher. And now the 0-2. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Suarez will be next. Montero wants the fastball in, and it's high. 2-2 on Avila.
Anderson overthrowing, going up against the junior circuit's best offensive team, at least by the batting average. And just about every fastball he's thrown, he's overthrown it up in the strike zone.
Another fastball. It's hit in the air toward right field, shallow right field. A trio of Diamondbacks converging, and it's the right fielder Parra. And there are 2 gone now. Here are our predictions for tonight's Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's new triple cheeseburger for only $2. I got eating kids look tonight.
Look at my guy tonight.
Ooh, you go with Gino.
I sure am.
Austin Jackson is the selection of John Keating. Eugenio Suarez,
right?
The pick for Mr. Allen, and here is Mr. Suarez. He was 0 for 4 last night. And he takes one way outside, 1-0. Eugenio batting .250 now. He's hit 3 home runs, 11 RBIs. And he skies this one to right field, slicing toward the corner. Parra coming over, and he makes the catch up against the wall. Nice running play by Gerardo Parra. And the Tigers will go in order here in the second. 1-2-3. here in Phoenix. Let's take a moment now to check in with John Keating.
Well, Mario, I hate to name drop, but you and I were out grabbing a late night bite last night, and we run into the guy running the Diamondbacks now, Tony La Russa, and he is leaving tomorrow to go to Cooperstown, New York. He'll be inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame. He'll have about 40 family and friends with him. He was singling out fellow inductee Joe Torre, who's got a passel of siblings. He's going to have more than 200 folks, but one of La Russa's peeps will, of course, be his best pal on God's green earth. Jim Leland will be there. They'll play in a golf outing in the same foursome on Saturday, and then Jim will get to see Tony inducted into the Hall of Fame on Sunday.
Yeah, it should be a great day for all of them involved. You know, I was kind of hoping Tony would pick up the check last night, Keith, but no such luck. Oh, well, Porcello gets a quick out here in the second. His Trumbo is gone.
Dave Dombrowski is not on this particular trip with the ball club. He will also be in Cooperstown with Tony La Russa, Roland Heeman. I had dinner with him here tonight. He's also going to Cooperstown. And I saw something on Tony, Mario. He's not going to wear a hat into Cooperstown. He's going in simply as Tony La Russa. He didn't feel right wearing a White Sox hat, nor Oakland hat, nor St. Louis hat. There's Roland Heeman right there. He'll be in Cooperstown as well. He was a general manager in Chicago when he hired Tony La Russa after 1 year of minor league managing.
You know, that's interesting because La Russa did win a World Series title with Oakland and a couple with St. Louis Cardinals. And, of course, he mentioned his White Sox ties as well. I guess didn't want to slight one of those clubs.
He didn't. That's exactly what he said. He said he has so much respect for all of his former employers that he didn't want to just pick one hat to go in. So he's going in hatless.
Here is Gerardo Parra. He's batting with one out. The 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed.
You saw that shot there, Roland Heeman. Roland Heeman is the mentor of Jerry Reinsdorf, Dave Dombrowski, Walt Jocketty, Tony La Russa. I brought up all those guys last night, and Roland Heeman is the one guy that has the common thread to all those gentlemen. At some point in time, he hired all of them. Great baseball man.
Now Porcello ready with the 0-2. Lifted in the air to center field. Jackson on his horse, and he'll get there in the gap.
He takes such great routes in center field. His first step is awfully quick. As soon as the ball has made contact, he's off at the crack of the bat and takes a direct line to get there and had to slow down once he got there.
4 straight retired now by Porcello after the Hill home run in the first inning. He's going to bring up Martin Prado, who last night had a double in 4 at-bats, batting .272. When Prado was with the Braves, it seemed like everybody wanted to trade for this guy, and he finally came over to the Diamondbacks in a deal that involved Justin Upton.
He could hit.
A solid bat, certainly a big part of his resume. 7 years with the Atlanta Braves. Here's Porcello's 0-1. He'll shoot that one to right field. Base hit. He goes the other way with a 2-out single. Well, we were talking about Tony La Russa and some of the things that he has accomplished. His resume is quite full.
It sure is. And 3 World Series titles, 4-time Manager of the Year, and 6 pennants. And he was a lawyer when he left college. And when he told his wife that he wanted to go manage in the minor leagues, she said, "Are you crazy? I didn't marry a minor league manager."
Well, I'm sure that would have been the response from most spouses at that point. Chief Baseball Officer, the official title for Tony La Russa here in Arizona. Gregorius skies one in the air to shallow left. Coming to the line is J.D. Martinez. That'll end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. By Ram Trucks. It's summer and great deals are heating up at the Ram Summer Clearance event today. And by Dan and Oikos and Stonyfield Organic Greek Yogurt, too delicious to be nutritious. Well, they dot the landscape here in Phoenix. The Saguaro Cactus. It's a 1-1 ball game as we go to the top of the third. Got a cactus in your front yard?
I do not have one in my front yard.
Keep the kids from playing in the front lawn, that's for sure. Here's Porcello to start things off. Rick to be followed by Jackson and then Kinsler, and they are facing Chase Anderson. Rick so far this year as a hitter is 0 for 2. He got 4 career hits. And Anderson missing high with a fastball 1-0.
Rick usually does not embarrass himself when he's standing in that batter's box. He was a pretty good hitter when he was in high school.
Another fastball. That one catches the corner.
Hit quite a few home runs his senior year.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Got in on his hands that time. Rolled to third base where it's gobbled up there by Prado. And Porcello gets halfway down the line and takes a right turn. He got about halfway and said, I'm done. One gone. Check this out.
Good hard fastball inside. He got all in his kitchen.
Back to the dugout. Here's Jackson. Singled and scored back in the first, and he looks at ball 1. So after a very slow start for Chase Anderson, gave up a couple of hits and a run in that first inning. He's retired 6 in a row. Even though he's been 3 of 10 on first pitch strikes. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Jackson.
Came out throwing a lot of changeups and curveballs, but the last couple of innings, Montero, the catcher, has been calling for that fastball.
Two and 2 the count. Jackson started this game with a single to right field. He's now hit safely in his last 5 in a row. Kinsler lurking on deck. And a ground ball left side. Oh, Gregorius going to have a tough play, no play. Jackson, I'm thinking, probably would have beaten that one out. The goal was a hit.
And Gregorius showing his range, though. A dive by the third baseman Prado, but Gregorius able to get there, but not able to make a clean exchange.
How about Jackson now? Another multi-hit game. And here is what he's been able to do since May and June.
In the month of May and June, he was retooling his swing. He got rid of that leg kick. He went back to his toe tap. It took him the entire month to finally figure some stuff out, but when Brad Ausmus put him back in that leadoff spot in July, it just clicked for Ausmus.
Anderson taking a long time. Kinsler would not step out, so he throws back to first. Another multi-hit game for Jackson. He's got 5 in a row now. That's how red hot he has been. As that average continues to soar. Ball low as Montero goes down to block it. Kinsler had a productive out his first time up. He bounced out advancing the runner, but the very next hitter, Cabrera, was able to knock him in. Even though Kinsler was out, got the runner to second base. Here's the 1-0. One ball, 1 strike on Kinsler. Ian this year has scored 65 runs. That is good for the 4th highest total in the American League. Bunted toward third. There's no play. Everybody is safe. A bunt single for Kinsler. Prado had no shot.
He is just a really good baseball player and an awfully smart player. And Prado playing deep at that third base position, gets a fastball. He deadens it perfectly. And by the time Prado gets there, Ian Kinsler crossing the bag.
And he has given Cabrera 2 more base runners to work with. Miguel singled in a run in his first at bat. Tigers now have 4 hits on the board. 2 on and 1 out. And that average now with men in scoring position up to 382 for Miguel. Back the other way, 0-1 on Cabrera. Time now for the Bernstein advantage, and Cabrera certainly has had the Bernstein advantage against Arizona. Look at that bottom number. 400 career in this ballpark, but really up and down. Great numbers against these Diamondbacks. Anderson ahead in the count, 0-1. Drill to right field, slicing. Back into the seats. 0-2.
Miggy just a hair late on that fastball there from Anderson.
Anderson is ahead of the count here, 0-2. The Tigers have 4 hits. All 4 of those hits have come with Anderson behind in the count. And the 0-2. Breaking ball that Cabrera would not chase. And again, Montero, who's done a lot of it tonight, had to go down and block that ball. Singles by Jackson and Kinsler, an infield hit and a bunt single. Even the count now, 2-2.
He has not thrown Miguel a changeup yet. He's pretty much been fastball, curveball to Miggy in Miggy's first 2 plate appearances.
Outside again now from 0-2. We go to 3-2.
That was a changeup right there, but he held on to it too long and he pulled it across the plate. I have no problem running the Jackson and Kinsler here with Miggy in the batter's box. Miggy does not strike out all that often.
We'll see if Ausmus will start the runners. 2 on and 1 out.
Judging by the secondary lead there by Jackson, it does not appear that he's going to be on the move, but we'll see.
Victor Martinez on deck. 3-2 the count on Miguel Cabrera. Runners go. Grounded to third and bobbled there. Prado's throw to first is in time. The runners will advance.
Well, he put the runners in motion. They now sit second and third with 2 outs, but I'd be very shocked here if Kirk Gibson decides to pitch to Victor Martinez. Clearly would have been a double play ball if they weren't running there. Victor already has 13 intentional base on balls this year.
And J.D. Martinez waiting on deck. Victor will stand in with first base open. Runners at second and third, 2 outs. .292 this year with runners in scoring position. Flat out on the first pitch he saw back in the first inning. Ball one.
And Montero now going to go out and talk to Anderson and tell him you've got the base open. Just because we're not walking him intentionally, it doesn't mean you have to give in to him, especially with the right-hander in the on-deck circle, regardless of how hot J.D. Martinez has been.
Tigers had a situation last night in the ball game when Cabrera came up in the 7th inning, singled in a run. They had a man at third and one out. They pitched to Miggy, and Miggy drove in the go-ahead run.
Oh, now they're just going to put Victor on. I was kind of shocked they didn't do it at the beginning.
So the intentional walk is going to load the bases, which means J.D. Martinez will get an opportunity with 2 outs. Here's ball 3, missing outside. And now the intentional pass is complete. We'll see if Martinez can make him pay. JD struck out in the first inning. 281 career with the bases loaded. He has hit a grand slam this year. Inside, almost hit him. 1-0 the count. Anderson had an easy second, but he gave up an infield hit to Jackson. Bunt single to Kinsler, and now the intentional walk to Victor Martinez. Swing and a miss. It gets past Montero all the way to the backstop, and a run will score. Everybody moves up. Jackson is in, and the Tigers take the lead.
Told you that Montero was an all-star this year and a pretty good catcher for the most part, but here's a breaking ball swung through by J.D. Martinez, and he tries to backhand instead of getting the body over in front of to smother, and the Tigers get themselves a gift run. Wow.
They'll take it. Second and third now, and a 1-ball 1-strike count. 23 pitch innings so far for Chase Anderson. High fly ball right field. They'll stay in the park. Parra is under it, and they will hold the Tigers to just the 1 run. Tigers take the lead as we go to the bottom of the third.
Our friend, he came up to see us, Rod.
Does your friend have a name, Joe?
No, in the 21st century, we're not going to have names. We're just going to have numbers.
Rod Allen, Greg Schulte, Bob Brenly. We got the whole clan here today. Guys, how about the D-backs? Ready for a big sweep? What do you think today, Rod?
This is the only game in town right here.
Well, Greg, you got anything about the game?
No, I want to eat. Forget it.
Later.
I got nothing. It's all on you, partner. I got nothing after watching that.
You know, we had much fun back in those days, but not nearly as much fun as you and I have up here.
What exactly? I mean, was that like Star Wars night or something?
We did all kind of crazy stuff here, man. I mean, every night it was something different.
Two things that stick out to me: A, the fade that you had going that day, which was a sweet look, and B, don't take this the wrong way, but you were in great shape back then. You still are, but
yeah. I've been working trying to get back to my playing weight too.
Oh, how about the shirt too? The shirt that you guys were wearing was really slick. Check that out.
That's one of my mentors right there, Joe Garagiola Sr. I spoke to him today as well too. He's not doing very well. He was ill, but he's doing better now. But we had a real nice conversation today. He was real good to me when I was here in Arizona.
Well, our best wishes to Joe Garagiola. Chase Anderson, meanwhile, strikes out here in the third. That'll bring up Peralta. That's the problem with television. That video is just going to, it's going to exist forever now.
They shocked me when they pulled that out.
I mean, did you remember that when you did that?
Well,
that open?
After seeing it, I do remember it. But we did a lot of stuff here. I'm sure they could look through the archives and find us doing a lot of other crazy stuff.
Well, maybe we should. Here's Peralta.
No.
Peralta struck out back in the first. Tigers go ahead 2-1 on a wild pitch. And Porcello working here in the bottom of the third. There's a wave and a miss, and the count is 0-2. Rick surrendered the home run to Aaron Hill back in the first inning, and really that's been it. Gave up a single in the second, no damage though. And he's gone ahead of Peralta 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Tight breaking ball there thrown by Porcello. He's been throwing a couple of different breaking balls. He's got that one right there that's a little tighter, and he's got a slower curve ball that's right around 80-81 miles an hour.
Sliced foul, third base side.
Biggest numbers for me, not so much the wins that Porcello has this year, but he's been able to hold left-handed batters to a .240 batting average this season.
Well, one of the other numbers that sticks out to me as well, which shows the fact that he's really starting to mature now and evolve. He's on pace for the first time to throw over 200 innings. It's driven to right field. That'll get down. Base hit, maybe more. It's going to get by Hunter and go to the wall. Peralta's going to round the bag at second. He's coming to third. And Kinsler's relay will be late. It'll be a triple for David Peralta.
Second triple of the year for David Peralta, whose family is in attendance today. If you weren't with us in yesterday's game, we told you this young man came up and started his minor league career as a pitcher. That didn't work out very well for him. Lots of injuries. He walked away from the game. Then he played independent ball for 3 years before getting an opportunity in Arizona.
He can hit, he can run, and he has his second triple of the season, forcing the Tigers infield in. Aaron Hill will step to the plate. Diamondbacks have their third hit of the contest. Hill sends one in the air to right. Hunter will size it up. And Peralta will come in and score. He'll do so standing up. Sacrifice fly for Aaron Hill. And he's got both of their RBIs tonight. 2-2 ball game.
This is just a professional at bat by a veteran hitter. And the only thing that Aaron Hill had on his mind was hitting something deep enough to right field to score the run. Staying on this slow curveball. Look at the concentration. The head is straight down. And that's exactly what he was trying to do. He doesn't have much of a stride either. They've got a couple of guys in their order here today that basically utilize the slide step. And here's Goldschmidt. He's another one that doesn't really stride. Just kind of picks the foot up and puts it right back down.
Grounded to third his first time up. 0 for 1 for Goldschmidt.
Rick has been 10 of 11 now in first pitch strikes. Here's the 0-1. Right back to Porcello, who flags it down for the out.
Cool as a cucumber.
Diamondbacks tied up though on the sacrifice fly by Hill. He scores Peralta, who tripled.
That was, I might have went to the barber that day.
The Fresh Prince of Arizona. Here we go. There it is. Looking good.
Look at Joe, listening to every word I say.
Or pretending to. One
exactly, exactly.
Well, here come the Tigers now as we go to the fourth inning. 2-2 ball game. Every time the Tigers score, the Diamondbacks come right back. Hunter leads it off. And Torrey looks at a ball high. Hunter struck out against the starter Anderson back in the second, 0 for 1. Batting .274. Came in at .365 here in the month of July. Hunter on pace for a spectacular year for a guy his age and what he has accomplished in this game. He's got 57 RBIs right now. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, he's playing like a guy that's not ready to shut it down. And Torrey turned 39 years old just a couple of days ago, but you wouldn't know it by the way he's playing baseball these days. Keeps his body in just exceptional shape.
He's gone ahead now, 3 balls, no strikes. Avila waiting on deck. And he lost it, ball 4. 4-pitch walk. And fans, don't forget it's a Fox Sports Detroit Prize Pack Tuesday brought to you by Meyer. Enter at www.foxsportsdetroit.com to be eligible to win a fantastic prize pack that any baseball fan would love. Anderson giving up the walk here. Leadoff man is on. And that's going to bring up Alex Avila. He flied out his first time up. And Avila looks at strike 1. Alex still trying to get that 100th double of his career. He needs one more 2-bagger to reach 100.
Have you noticed how deep this outfield plays? Everybody.
I have. Yeah, I mean, really left center to right. They are way back. Here's the 0-1. Lifted back out of play.
In the outfield, they also shade Avila just a little bit towards the pull field, but not as drastic as the infielders. You can see Peralta in center field, shaded toward right field.
Oh, 2. Suarez will be next. And he missed outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chase Anderson, we mentioned, really got his career off to a quick start here. He won his first 5 straight decisions, became the first Diamondbacks pitcher, rookie pitcher ever to do that, went 5 in a row to start his career. But then he went on a 4-game losing streak. The 1-2. Just off the plate, 2-2.
All about adjustments up here. And you talked about the fact that Anderson came to the big leagues with one of the best changeups, if not the best changeup in the minor leagues for the Diamondbacks. And it probably took about 1 time through for several teams to notice that. Then he had to make another adjustment after going 5-0 his first 5 starts. It's all about adjustments up here at this level.
Swing and a miss, and Avila goes down.
That's one of the best changeups he's thrown all night.
He's got his 3rd strikeout. 1 gone. We'll check out the rookie ranks for Chase Anderson. 6 wins is tops right now in the National League. 3 more strikeouts in this contest tonight. Here is Eugenio Suarez. Fly ball to right field his first time. It was caught in foul territory by Parra. He'll drive another one in that same basic area, but this time it'll get back in the seats. Suarez, for the most part, has held his own at this level, both offensively and defensively, but he's gone into a little bit of a slide now with the bat, batting .248. Hit some home runs early, made a splash when he first came up from the minor leagues. Here's the 0-1. That's in there. 0-2.
Suarez was tardy on the first fastball from Anderson. Then he took another fastball that was right down the middle. He might have changeup on his mind. Now with 2 strikes, you can't afford to look for any one pitch. You have to look for the baseball and make all the necessary adjustments if it's in the strike zone.
Ball high. Fastball at 92, missing. Suarez laid off. Porcello waiting on deck. We're tied at 2 in the 4th. Two and 2 the count. Down to the minor leagues prior to his call-up, Anderson had a 20 consecutive scoreless inning streak. Back in there is Torrey, who led the inning off with a base on balls. Tigers runs tonight, scoring off the bat of Cabrera, an RBI single and a wild pitch. Allowed another to score. That was back in the 3rd. Runner goes. He'll just simply step off, threw it wide, but they'll be able to make the tag. Hill made a great play.
Nice job there by Anderson, not panicking after Torrey Hunter took off prematurely. He nearly had him. He took off about 7, 8 steps. He couldn't stop now. simply stepped out and got the ball to Hill after Hill made a nice play on a bad throw from Anderson.
Hill is able to pull that ball back and clearly applied the tag. Brad Ausmus went out there, but the Tigers looked at the video and said, no, don't do it. Hill made a sprawling play. Suarez swings and misses, and just like that, the inning is over. 4 strikeouts now for Chase Anderson. On to the bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the 4th inning here in Phoenix. Rick Porcello back to the hill. We mentioned that Porcello, of course, did not make the All-Star team, possibly a snub. But Rick had a tweet during the All-Star break. Great break. Time to get after it in the second half. Apparently he went fishing up in Vermont.
Looked like a very relaxing time for Porcello during the All-Star break.
And Rick is new to Twitter, and you can follow him, obviously, at Rick Porcello. And he has tweeted several fishing pictures, so that is obviously one of his passions. He's back to the hill now in the 4th inning. He's got Miguel Montero to start things off. It'll be Montero, Trumbo, Parra in the Diamondbacks' 4th inning. 2 runs on 4 hits for Detroit, 2 runs on 3 hits for the Diamondbacks. And the first one is outside. 1 ball and no strikes.
He hasn't missed with many of his first pitches here today. He's been outstanding with his first pitch strikes.
Montero is 0 for 5 in the series. He has an RBI. And Rick's 1-0 pitch. Pulled on the ground, foul. Just out of the reach there of Victor Martinez. 10 of 13 now on first pitch strikes for Porcello. That's how good he's been. Montero is the Diamondbacks all-time leader in games caught. Been around here a long time. And he foul tips that one into the glove. 1-2. All-Star this year for the second time, was also an All-Star back in 2011. He was named this season to replace Yadier Molina, who couldn't make the game with an injury. Two and two. Diamondbacks came into the series after a 3-game sweep of the Chicago Cubs. Tigers won the opener last night, ending their winning streak. The 2-2. Little looper, shallow left field, base hit. He went the other way, leadoff single. Montero has his first hit of the series.
Well, it is time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag Detroit Fan Photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It is brought to you as always by AT&T. There's the hashtag Detroit Fan Photo. Later on in the game, we'll have a Detroit Fan Photo. Here's Mark Trumbo. Trumbo hit one back to the mound his first time up. And he looks at strike one. Trumbo in high school, they say, threw in the mid-90s as a pitcher. He was drafted by the Angels as a third baseman, but many teams scouting him were scouting him as a pitcher. Played a little third early on in his career with the Angels, and now mostly the outfield.
He has tremendous power in his bat. Very few right-handers in the National League or the American League boast the kind of power that Trumbo has. It's raw power.
They use the term light tower power, and Trumbo possesses that. He grew up in the shadow of the Big A. Went to Villa Park High School, which is not too far from the ballpark in Anaheim. He began his career there before the trade brought him to the Diamondbacks. Bouncing ball to second, should be two. Kinsler, Suarez, and a double play. Rick gets his first turn behind him tonight. 4-6-3. 2 gone.
Rick Porcello is at his best when there's a runner on first, less than 2 outs, because he throws so many ground balls. Nearly 50% of the balls put in play against Porcello are ground balls.
It'll bring up Parra with 2 outs. Anything hitting Kinsler's general vicinity is going to be an out. Parra batting .251, fly to center field. He is 0 for 1 in the game. Strike one. Porcello coming into this ball game tonight is 18 over 500 for his career. He's won 73 big league games. There's a bouncer hit to the right side. Kinsler has that one as well, and that'll end the inning. So nothing comes to the leadoff single. On our way to the 5th. Fifth inning. There's an old friend, Alan Trammell, currently the bench coach for Kirk Gibson here in Arizona. The two guys have been buddies for a while.
Yeah, when Trammell was a manager in Arizona, Kirk was his bench coach.
Well, it was quite a career for Alan Trammell. 20 seasons in a Tigers uniform.
185 home runs. He had some tremendous hand-eye coordination. It appeared that Lou Whitaker would lead off a lot of games with a single or double, and there was Tram to drive him in.
the World Series MVP back in 1984. Alan Trammell just went about his business in a professional manner day in and day out and racked up quite a career in 20 years in Detroit.
One of the nicest men in the game.
Well, the Tigers hitting now in the 5th inning. It'll be Rick Porcello to start things off against Chase Anderson. And Rick looks at a strike 0-1. Porcello, Jackson, Kinsler in a 2-2 contest. Bouncing ball to third, gobbled up there by Prado, and he'll throw him out. So for the second time in this game, Porcello has bounced to Martin Prado. He's 0 for 2. Hey, just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Here's Austin Jackson. Brad Ausmus was telling the story before the game today about how Jackson came to be elevated back to the leadoff slot. I guess Brad had a conversation with Jackson when they were in Houston earlier this year, and they were trying to figure a way to get him jump started. And Brad went to Jackson about, what do you think about batting leadoff again? And Jackson agreed that it might be a situation where he would feel more comfortable.
I bet his eyes lit up.
He probably did, because his batting average is starting to light up.
Yeah, Brad also said that he talked to his coaching staff about trying to get him going too. So there were several people that weighed in on that decision to get Jackson jump started.
There's a hard hit ground ball to second, flagged there by Hill. And Jackson, even his outs are tagged pretty good.
Yeah, he's barreling up everything these days.
2 up, 2 down, couple of ground ball outs for Chase Anderson. Bring up Ian Kinsler.
I'm sure that part of the decision making to put Jackson back in the leadoff spot was the fact that they knew that Ian Kinsler could bat second no problem, because he did that while he was playing for the Texas Rangers. He batted first and second in the 8-year career that he had in Texas.
Yeah, that's what Brad said before the game. He really didn't talk to Kinsler about it because he knew he could handle batting second in the lineup. He did talk to Torrey Hunter, though, and told Torrey, you know what, you're probably going to be hitting 5th and 6th now. Are you okay with that? And Torrey said, whatever helps the team. I'm all in. And so that's exactly what took place to get Jackson back in the leadoff slot.
Batting leadoff since 2010, Jackson scored more runs than anybody in baseball. Ian Kinsler also shows up on that list. He's 5th.
So another 2 hits for Jackson, which means 5 consecutive multi-hit games. Here's the 2-1. 3-1 the count. Cabrera waiting. Here's the 3-1 to Kinsler. Ripped foul. Three and 2 on Ian. Back home in the Arizona heat. Kinsler, a native of Tucson, Arizona, about an hour and a half from the Phoenix area. 3-2 pitch is outside, lost him. Didn't want to do that because now he's got Cabrera up there with a man on. Hey, by the way, it's Christmas in July in Comerica Park on July 29th when the Tigers battle the Chicago White Sox at 7:08. Enjoy Christmas music and an appearance by Santa Paws. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. Trying to get some Let's Go Tiger chants here at the ballpark.
You notice how they get that going when Miggy gets up.
And we'll see if Miggy can respond. RBI single and a ground out in this game. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Each ball club with 2 runs on 4 hits. 1 ball, 1 strike. Anderson, 26 years of age. He had an 0.69 ERA in the minor leagues before he was called up. I mean, he was absolutely dealing down in the minors. Here's the 1-1, and it's on the outer edge. One and two on Miguel. Jackson and Kinsler, by the way, in this series, 6 for 14 with 4 runs scored. They've gotten it done at the top. Good job of setting things up for Cabrera. The 1-2. Miggy swings and misses, struck him out. Inning over, no runs. The 2-out walk is stranded. Still knotted at 2, and you're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Is brought to you by the new Chevy Silverado light duty and heavy duty lineup, and by 5 Hour Energy. It helps recognize those who, despite their own needs, put others first. Back here at Chase Field, we're in Phoenix, Arizona tonight, game 2 in this series, and well, we haven't decided a whole lot yet. 2-2, each team with 4 hits, and Rick Porcello goes back to the hill now, facing Martin Prado. These are the bottom 3 hitters in the Diamondbacks lineup. Strike 1 on Prado. Gregorius and then Chase Anderson due up, 7-8-9. Prado had a single, did not score back in the second. Ball low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Porcello with the 1-1. Little pop up back a second. Kinsler hauls it in. 1 out. Well, feel free to join us again tomorrow. The Tigers wrapping up their series with Arizona. Our coverage begins at 2:30 with Tigers Live. Tigers Diamondbacks tomorrow at 2:30, and it's right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Then it is on to Southern California, a 4-game series over the weekend against the Angels.
The Mike Trout Show.
Oh, yeah.
In Southern California.
He's having another great year.
That he is.
In fact, the Angels as a club are having a really good year.
He's one of the main reasons.
Gregorius looks at a strike. 50 now for Rick.
Awfully efficient. No issues with Porcello as far as having 10 days off before this start.
He has thrown just 13 balls in this game.
Of the 51 total pitches.
By the way, in that Angel series, Game 1, did you see the pitching matchup?
Not yet.
Scherzer and Garrett Richards.
Oh, my goodness.
That's heavy duty right there. And then Avila slides over to throw his body in front of that one.
And Garrett Richards could have been an all-star. He's been the ace of their staff this year.
Throws hard. That'll be fun to watch. Max Scherzer on the hill for Detroit.
Max,
1-2.
Max grew up in this ballpark. #1 draft choice of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Gregorius is out.
Before David Dombrowski pulled off that trade, the 3-team trade, which got them Max Scherzer.
4th strikeout now for Porcello. Yeah, what a trade that was. Not real popular at the time because the Tigers gave up a really good and popular player.
No doubt. Curtis Granderson was real good in a Tigers uniform.
3 of the 4 the Tigers got still on their roster. The only exception is Daniel Schlereth, who is back in the Tiger system.
This goes to show that how good that deal was for Detroit.
Anderson looks at a strike. 1-1 the count. Bouncing ball to second. It's going to be an easy 1-2-3 inning. Kinsler throws him out. Down in order go the Diamondbacks. 5 in the books. Let's go to the 6th. Game as we go to the top of the 6th inning, and as you touched on a little bit earlier, Rod, Max Scherzer grew up in the Arizona Diamondbacks system, and in fact he made his 4th big league start against the Tigers.
He didn't have a curveball back in these days. It was pretty much fastball, slider, changeup for Max. Once he learned that curveball a couple of years ago, it elevated him to his Cy Young status.
It was May 17th back in 2008, and he went 5 innings, allowing 3 hits, no earned runs.
Max still lives here in the Valley, so he's had a chance to sleep in his own bed the last couple of nights.
Scherzer gave up no earned runs in that game and took a loss. 2 runs total.
102 pitches in 5 innings that day for Max.
Well, here is Victor Martinez to get things started. We go to the 6th inning at Chase Field. He'll be followed by J.D. Martinez and then Torrey Hunter.
Tigers are going to have to adjust their game plan against Anderson. He came out throwing a lot of changeups, which they knew that he would do. But the last 4 innings, he's given the Tigers a lot of fastballs, anywhere from 89 to 93.
Bender missed the outside corner.
1 ball, no strikes. Victor has been walked intentionally and he's flied out. That fly ball came back in the first inning. Here's the 1-0. That went dark slow. 2 balls, no strikes. 2 runs on 4 hits for both squads in this one tonight. Way inside. 3-0 the count. Tigers have gotten the leadoff man on twice in this game. That was back in the first when Jackson singled and scored, and then Hunter walked in the fourth. Was caught trying to steal. 3-1 on Victor. So Anderson now here in the 6th inning has reached the 90 plateau, and you see the ball strikes ratio not very good.
Effectively wild today. Anderson has been with the 43 balls thrown of the 90 total pitches.
Pulled on the ground right under the glove of Goldschmidt into right field. So Martinez will give the Tigers a leadoff single. And bring up J.D. Martinez. Five hits now for Detroit. J.D. strikeout and flyout. .325 average now with 44 driven in this year. High fly ball center field. The ballpark isn't going to hold this one. Peralta makes the play. 1 on, 1 out. We'll bring up Torrey Hunter. There's activity in the bullpen now for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
They won't allow Anderson to go much above 100 pitches. He's done it about 3 or 4 times this year, but not much above 100.
Oliver Perez warming up for Arizona. Here's Torrey walking a strikeout for Hunter. Bouncing ball left side. Gregorius to second. There's 1 relay. There's 2. A double play. 6-4-3 twin killing to the bottom of the 6th we go.
Here's the pitch. He swings. There's a long drive to right, and it is a home run for Gibson.
One of the most iconic moments in Tigers history, the 1984 World Series, the big home run that Kirk Gibson hits. Meanwhile, Peralta trying for his second triple of the ball game. He's going to get it. It is a leadoff three-bagger here in the sixth. And the Diamondbacks now in good shape to take the lead.
It's the third triple of the year for Peralta.
And his second in this game. Leadoff man on, fifth hit of the ball game now for the Diamondbacks. Here's Aaron Hill, who has knocked in their first two runs. He had a sacrifice fly in his last at bat after a Peralta triple. There's a chopper foul down the third base line. No balls and one strike. Hill with a home run in the first, sacrifice fly in the third. He's knocked in 47 on the year now. Trying to drive in the go-ahead run at third. David Peralta, who has tripled to start things off here in the sixth. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the 1-1. Checked it low. They will appeal. Negative. Manny Gonzalez said that he held up 2 balls and 1 strike on the former Blue Jay Aaron Hill.
Don't know exactly what Brett Ausmus is thinking here by not playing the infield in a tie game, but he may be hoping that Porcello can retire Hill. That would allow him to possibly walk Goldschmidt, who's their best hitter, and play for 2 with Porcello on the mound.
Grounded foul.
First, they've got to get the strikeout. Might not be a bad time here for Porcello to climb the ladder with a good four-seam fastball to see if he can get Hill to swing right through it.
Two and 2 the count. Bouncing ball to short. He'll get the run in. Suarez spinning play, and it's scooped at first. Terrific backhanded play by Victor. But Peralta will score, and the Diamondbacks have a 3-2 lead.
Avila initially wanted the fastball, but Porcello shook to the breaking ball at the bottom of the zone, and with 2 strikes, all Hill was trying to do was put the ball on the ground because the infield was relaxed, playing deep. Nice glove work by Victor Martinez.
So Hill now has all 3 RBIs tonight for Arizona. They lead 3-2, their first lead of the ball game. The one out here is Goldschmidt. And he looks at a strike, 0-1. Goldschmidt last year made a bid to win the MVP in the National League. He hit 36 homers, hit .302, but Andrew McCutchen won the award. The 0-1. That's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Porcello with the 1-1 pitch. In there, 1-2.
Goldschmidt hits for power, drives in runs, but he can also steal a base. 15 last year, then 18 the year before that.
Right.
It's a multi-dimensional player. He stays alive barely there, 1-2.
And because he's multi-dimensional, take a peek at this list that he finds himself on. This is just a list of 5 players since the beginning of last season. 300 or better with the average, 400 or better with the on-base percentage, and some sluggers, 500 or more. Goldschmidt, Mike Trout, McCutchen, Tulowitzki, and Miggy. That's some special company right there.
It's a heck of a team. Here's the 1-2. Got him. Strike 3. Porcello with a strikeout, 2 away.
Well located fastball here after several breaking balls to Goldschmidt. Can't really thread the needle any better than this last location at 91. Swing back fastball.
5 strikeouts for Rick. He's going to bring out Miguel Montero. And that one just missed, 1-0. Montero had a single. That was in the 4th inning. Struck out in the 1st. Fouled straight back. 1 ball and 1 strike on Montero. Tigers got 1 in the 1st. So did the Diamondbacks. Tigers got 1 in the 3rd. So did the Diamondbacks. But Arizona now has taken the lead with a run in the 6th inning. They've had a couple of triples tonight from David Peralta. And he has scored both times. Bouncing ball to 3rd. Cabrera has the hop there. Montero is out. That'll end the inning. They get a run, though, to break the tie, and we go to the 7th. To the Cleveland ball game tonight. Right now it's 3-2 in favor of the Arizona Diamondbacks as we go to the 7th inning, the top of the 7th. And here are the standings right now. A 6-game lead for the Tigers over Cleveland. KC is 8 back, Chicago 9 back. Still plenty of time in this one, though. The Tigers down by 1. We've got a wall side windows pitching change. It's the veteran lefty Oliver Perez.
And well-traveled Oliver Perez, not throwing nearly as hard as he used to throw, but he's having a sensational year this season for the Arizona Diamondbacks in 40 games, a 2 ERA. And take a look at those bottom numbers there. 40 strikeouts for Oliver, just 13 walks.
So Perez, who the last couple of years was pitching in Seattle, is now here in Arizona. Big league career began in 2002 with San Diego.
And Porcello more than likely has thrown his last pitch of the game here in the 7th inning. He's due up third, which means he'll probably be pinch hit for.
It'll be Avila and then Suarez, and then the pitcher spot. Lefty-lefty matchup here. Avila is 0-for-2, fly ball, strikeout. Oh, how about that delivery from Perez?
It's different.
Oh my goodness.
It's a left-handed Louis Tiant delivery.
That's exactly right. A whole lot of moving parts to this windup.
Well, apparently he's reinvented himself because those numbers that we put up were pretty good.
Swing and a miss. 0-2 now on Avila. Perez, early in his career, used mostly as a starter, was signed to a 2-year deal by the Diamondbacks on March 10th. And breaks outside.
Here's the Oliver Perez delivery on the first pitch that he threw to Avila. Turned his back, high leg kick, real good breaking ball, down and away from Avila.
He even turned his head, so it's a while before he actually picks up the target. 1-2. It'll bounce in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tigers trailing 3-2 in the 7th.
This last time he paused a little bit.
Just a little modification.
Crafty left-hander.
Here's the 2-2. Back to the Tiant delivery, and he missed with it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Other stops in his career: San Diego, Pittsburgh, Mets. We mentioned Seattle. Suarez on deck. Swing and a miss, and Avila down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight. 1 gone.
Chase Anderson started for the Arizona Diamondbacks this evening, and he was effectively wild. Non-roster invitee to spring training, spent the entire year in AAA last year and was there before getting called up. Good breaking ball, had some life on his fastball, and really didn't use his changeup as much as the Tigers hitters thought he would use that changeup today.
Here is Suarez. And is in for a strike. For the time being, Porcello has moved to the on-deck circle. Let's see what Suarez does here. 0-for-2 in this game. One ball, 1 strike. 0-for-6 in the series for Suarez. Tried to hold up, unable to do it, and it's 1-2.
Brad Ausmus and Rick Porcello were having a lengthy conversation when Rick trotted off the mound in the bottom half of the 6th inning, and I'm sure they were going through a number of scenarios to whether he would get an at-bat here in the 7th or not.
Inside. 2-2 the count. Activity in the Detroit bullpen. Corey Knebel and Albuquerque warming up.
Interesting scenario here this evening should the Tigers get themselves in a situation to win and need someone to save the game. Nathan and both Jabba Chamberlain have both pitched the last 3 days.
Yeah, and I'm sure Brad Ausmus was kind of hoping tonight he might have a big lead going to the 9th inning where that really wouldn't have mattered. Nathan was able to save the ball game last night. Java again was really good in the 8th. Fouled off. Right now the go-ahead run for the Diamondbacks scored in the bottom of the 6th on a triple by their leadoff man David Peralta. He's got 2 of them tonight. Here's the 2-2 again. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Stop there. Deep behind the bag by Hill, but no shot to throw him out. Be a 1-out single. And Porcello's going to stay in this game and try and bunt him up.
Hill's doing everything tonight. He's driven in all 3 of the runs the Diamondbacks have scored with a home run, a ground out, and a sac fly. Suarez too much speed for Hill to complete that play.
So Porcello tonight has put the ball on the ground twice, 0 for 2. Jackson waiting on deck. Only 1 out. Porcello also handles the bat well enough where he could show bunt, pull it back, and swing away. But he's going to try and lay it down, and Suarez got back in there behind the throw.
You have to be careful when you're on the base paths in a bunting situation where the hitter bunts through the baseball. You can't get too aggressive with your secondary lead. Catchers are taught to throw behind the runner.
Rick had to buckle out of the way that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. June 8th of 2012, Rick's last sacrifice bunt. The 1-1 again, same location again. Porcello had to dance out of the way.
Porcello will be trying to bunt the ball down in this direction, down toward Goldschmidt. He does have a responsibility of holding Suarez on at first base. You can see on this side of the diamond, no responsibility for Prado, so he wants to stay away from him.
Outside, and now he's gone to 3-1. They're trying to give Perez an out, but he's not throwing strikes. Even Marshall warming up in the bullpen for the Diamondbacks. Now time call. Porcello wants to have a chat with Clark down there at third base.
Well, Dave is had to get the signs a couple of times for Brad there just to see exactly what they were doing, and Porcello's not accustomed to looking at signs from the third base coach, so he wanted to make sure if the bunt was still on that he got it right.
Jabbed at it, strike 2.
And you said it exactly right. He jabbed at it. He's going to get one more opportunity to do it, though.
And it's bunted to first base. So he got it done with 2 strikes to the count. That'll advance the runner.
That is not an easy thing to do for an American League pitcher that very seldom swings the bat at all. Perfect technique. Slight bend at the knees, He allowed the bat to catch the baseball to deaden it. And you can see the direction the bat was pointing, which created the bunt right down the first baseline. Nicely done by Porcello.
So that's going to be it for Perez, who hops off the field. It's a wall side windows pitching change here. We'll be back.
Two outs, Tigers trailing by run, and here's the Sam call of the game all the way back to the first. Jackson single to lead off the game. He took off on a 3-2 count to Kinsler, which meant they stayed out of the double play, and then a hanging breaking ball to the league's best hitter plated the first run for the Detroit Tigers.
Been kind of back and forth since then, but the Diamondbacks got a run in the bottom of the 6th inning to go ahead, and now the Tigers trying to tie it up against Evan Marshall.
Marshall's got a really good arm. He's got some heavy sink at about 95 miles an hour. You see his numbers: 25 strikeouts, just 9 base on balls for Marshall.
So here is Jackson trying to deliver with 2 outs.
Diamondbacks have played the Tigers tough here in the last couple of days. Tigers come in with the best road record in baseball, and the Diamondbacks second worst home record in baseball.
It was a 1-run game last night. Same story tonight. There's a Bender that drops in. 0-1 the count on Jackson. 2 more hits tonight. Couple of singles, couple of runs scored.
Strong arm in right field. Parra, he's got a gun. He gets lots of assists. He's won a couple of Gold Gloves. Not so much in left with Trumbo or Peralta in center field.
Bouncing ball left side of the infield. Gregorius. His throw is on the money, and the threat is over. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. 7th inning stretch brought to you by Health Plus.
but he trails by 1 run. He's thrown 8 ground ball outs. That's something that's not unusual when Porcello is on the mound. He also has 5 strikeouts. He's also thrown 5 flyouts in this contest. So Rick Porcello going out there and doing exactly what he's done all year long, giving his team a tremendous opportunity to win the game.
And he remains in the game, and he'll take the mound here in the bottom of the 7th inning, facing Mark Trumbo, who starts it off for the Diamondbacks. Trumbo is 0 for 2, and he takes the ball low, 1-0. Rick tonight has gotten 8 ground ball outs, 5 in the air, 5 via the strikeout. Here's the 1-0. 2-0 the count on Trumbo. And a fractured foot earlier in the year, so missed a good portion of the first half. And as a result, batting just .200 with 7 home runs. Porcello wants to keep him in the ballpark. It is a 1-run game. And a bouncing ball back up the middle. Suarez. Trumbo is out, 1 gone.
Here's our high-speed pitch brought to you by Xfinity. Rick Porcello's gotten up to 92 here today, 75 with his curveball. Boy, what a difference Suarez, Romine, Kinsler have made to the success of Porcello this season. They gobble up every ground ball.
They literally scoop up, you're right, everything. I mean, even the tough plays, too.
Tigers have been a really good defensive team in the month of July. They've only made 2 errors.
Parra is 0 for 2, fly out, ground out. There's a ground ball to second. Kinsler won't miss that one in the backhand. He'll throw him out.
I guess Parra didn't believe us.
Bring up Martin Prado. Here's a question for you, though, and it concerns Eugenio Suarez. If he continues to, I guess, come back down to earth and struggle with the bat, is his glove enough to keep him in the lineup the rest of the season?
That's a great question. I know there's some names being floated out there like Jimmy Rollins, who appears to be on the move. They'd also have some relievers. You know, Dave Dabrowski, he's not on this trip right now, so he's out watching some minor leaguers as we speak. They're going to have to give up somebody. So that's a great question. I don't know the answer to it, but if they can upgrade, they'll upgrade.
Yeah.
It's got to be an upgrade, though.
I'm not sure right now the Tigers have the answer to that question. They continue to evaluate, but as we get deeper toward the deadline, which is just a few days away, they will have to make that decision.
Well, if they do go out and acquire a shortstop, any team that they deal with, they're probably going to want Suarez in the deal.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Prado has a single and a pop-up.
Because as good as Suarez has been, and this is not a knock on Suarez, he's not Iglesias.
Very true. Few are defensively. Very true.
And Iglesias hit 300 last year.
Bouncing ball to second. Rick Porcello doing what he does best. 3 ground ball outs. 7th inning is over. Let's go to the 8th. Down by a run.
Detroit is brought to you by Arby's. Try Arby's new King's Hawaiian Roast Beef BLT today. And by Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Back here at Chase Field, we're in Phoenix, Arizona, where today was 111 degrees. Here's our Comerica Bank game summary. Austin Jackson is about 111 degrees right now. He's red hot. Fifth straight multi-hit game. Peralta's had a couple of triples and has scored twice. And Aaron Hill with a solo home run. He has knocked in all three for the Diamondbacks. We will see now as we get to the eighth inning, the back end of the bullpen for the D-backs. Here's Brad Ziegler.
What a year that he is having. 44 strikeouts, 17 walks. ERA sits at 2.5, and because he throws from that sidearm angle, he can literally throw just about every single day. He's already been in 51 games.
Well, he's going to need to be sharp here because his mission is to get Kinsler, Cabrera, and Victor Martinez.
A lot of scouts here at the ballpark tonight, and Ziegler's one of those guys that's been mentioned in a lot of trade rumors. There's about 15, 16 guys sitting right behind home plate, as it usually is this time of year as the trade deadline approaches.
Here's Ian Kinsler, and he looks at a strike in the outer edge, 0-1. Ian in the ball game has a single and a walk. It's fouled off behind home plate. Two, 3, and 4 for the Tigers. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Sails outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Even though Ziegler has that sidearm delivery, he had a little depth with that breaking ball. Usually guys that throw from this angle, their breaking balls more east to west in the strike zone.
Ian thought about it, would not go fishing though, and the count is 2-2. There's a bouncing ball in the hole, base hit out of the reach of Gregorius. And so Kinsler, the tying run is on now, his second hit. And will bring up Cabrera. Mickey in the ball game tonight, singled in a run in the first inning. Some changes defensively. And the double switch that the Diamondbacks use. Here's the drive to center field, base hit. Kinsler is on his way to third. He's going to test the arm of Inciarte, and he's in there safely. It's first and third, nobody out. Back-to-back singles for the Tigers.
And Miggy jumped on the first pitch from Ziegler. Ziegler trying to get that ground ball, get a double play here to help himself out. But Miggy got underneath it. And what did Miggy do once he got to first base after Kinsler was able to get over to third? He and Omar were laughing about something. Well,
Omar.
He dove back on the bag and he landed on his stomach.
What are you doing, Omar?
His bag, his stomach landed on the bag.
So here is Martinez now in a 3-2 ball game. First and third, nobody out. Victor single, intentional walk.
Victor, you have to make Ziegler get something up in the strike zone so you can loft a fly ball deep enough in the outfield to score the run.
Ball one. Tigers now have 8 hits in this game. They've out-hit Arizona 8-5, but trail for the time being 3-2.
Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss.
Usually left-handers like Ziegler that throw from this angle, left-handers just simply wear them out because they get a really good look at the baseball because their arm is extended away from their body before they let it go. But Ziegler's been good against lefties this year. He's really hadn't been all that bad against right-handers either.
Ziegler got to the big leagues first with the Athletics.
Had a real nice rookie year.
Bouncing ball to first. Goldschmidt going to come home with it. And then they got Kinsler hung up between third and home. And Ziegler runs him back. Well, he's staying alive, trying to get that runner to third. Now finally the tag is made, but Cabrera will stay at second base. Boy, that's a big break there for the Diamondbacks. With one out now, first and second.
It's the right play by Ian Kinsler, though. I mean, that's a situation right there. If he doesn't go home, this is a double play right here. So by him going home and giving up himself, the Tigers still have two runners on base, and there's only one out. Kinsler stayed in the rundown long enough for Miggy to get to third base, but Miggy is such a smart player. He was not going to go to third base to create more issues for the Tigers. That actually worked out better for Detroit than it would have worked out. Score would have been tied, but they would have gotten a double play.
1-2-5, 1-6-3 on the putout. And so now it's first and second. Mike Harkey, their pitching coach, out to have a brief talk with Ziegler.
Mike Harkey in his first year as the Diamondback pitching coach after spending several years in the bullpen for the New York Yankees under his good buddy Joe Girardi. Did you know he has a son that plays in the NFL, Harkey, for the Los Angeles Rams?
Really?
Look how big he is, though.
Yeah, Mike Harkey, former
St. Louis Rams, excuse me.
Top pick of the Chicago Cubs. They'll get a pinch runner at first base now. Martinez coming out of the game. It's going to be Don Kelly. So here's where Ziegler's been good. Since 2011, he's gotten 45 double play balls. And only Zach Britton has gotten more in that stretch.
He would have had another one had Kinsler not taken off from third.
J.D. Martinez the batter. Way outside, and boy, Montero with a heck of a play there to keep the runners in first and second.
What you got on that rundown with Kinsler?
You know what? He wasn't giving up.
2-5, 2-5, 2-5.
Now there was a 1 in there. 1 ball, no strikes.
3-2-5, 1-6-3. That's it.
Is that it? You sure there's not more? Way outside again.
Sound like I'm trying to give my digits away.
2-0 the count. JD in the ball game, strikeout, 2 flyouts. Crucial spot here with 2 on and 1 out. He is ahead of the count, 2 balls, no strikes on Brad Ziegler.
He really hasn't looked all that comfortable tonight, but all it takes is one big swing of the bat.
Oh, right off of Ziegler. He's going to try and run it down, and everybody is safe, and Ziegler may be hurt.
Oh, he is hurt.
Down he goes. A bullet hit right back to the mound. That'll load the bases.
Did it get him on his pitching arm, though?
Ziegler right now just looks like he's trying to catch his breath. He almost got to that ball to get the force at third, but he couldn't quite do it. See if he's able to stay in this game, but right now he is hurt. Where'd it get him?
Usually when you throw those fastballs down and away to right-handed batters and they do what they're supposed to do in the batter's box, they usually hit the ball right back up the middle.
He got it right in the chest.
And really it's because of his sidearm delivery and that he falls off so violently to the third base side of the rubber that this ball hit him, or else it would have been a base hit right back up the middle.
We shall see if he will stay in the game. All right. He is convinced, apparently, Kirk Gibson and the trainer, or has he? So Ziegler will stay in the game. The bases are loaded with Tigers now. One out, and here is Torrey Hunter. Bases loaded, career .316. Tigers a base hit away from regaining the lead. They're down 3-2. Cabrera at third base, Kelly down at second, and JD at first. That was the 9th hit of the game for the Tigers.
Torrey has been outstanding in these types of situations all season long.
0-1.
16 of 23, which is good for 70%. You see the league average just 51% in these types of situations. Torrey's just got to keep the ball off the ground.
Which is exactly what Ziegler wants him to do, hit something into the turf. And he shoots that one foul down the right field line.
Nice short quick swing by Torrey trying to hit a fly ball to right field.
More action. De La Rosa warming up in the bullpen for the Diamondbacks. Here's the 1-1. Ground ball back up the middle into center field. A base hit. Cabrera scores. Kelly coming around to score. The throw to the plate. Right. Down to second goes Torrey Hunter, who comes through with the bases loaded. Tigers have the lead 4-3.
Great call there also to pinch run for Victor Martinez because he doesn't score in that play, but Don Kelly much faster, able to come home with right now is the winning run. Here's the pitch by pitch. Torrey Hunter, knowing Ziegler tries to get that sinker ball down, he stayed on it long enough and hit him an absolute bullet right back to the middle. Inciarte in center field, inserted for defensive purposes, airmails the cutoff man, and that allows Torrey to get into scoring position as well.
A 2-run 8th inning. The Tigers have taken the lead. Kirk Gibson coming out. Ziegler was not the answer. And he'll take the baseball from him.
Ziegler has been the answer all year for the Diamondbacks in this situation.
Hunter gets his 59th RBI. Ziegler is done. Pitching change. We shall return.
runners on second and third. And let's take a look at the big boys' big play of the game. Torrey Hunter gets one of those sinker balls right on the outside part of the plate, whistles it right past the diving Aaron Hill, and Don Kelly, who pinch ran for Victor, able to score along with Miguel Cabrera.
And Hunter is able to get to second base on the play.
Love the fact that after Miggy scored, you saw him directing traffic, telling Don Kelly exactly where to slide. He told him you need to slide inside because he saw where the throw was coming from the center fielder.
Yuri De La Rosa now is on to face Alex Avila here. The infield coming in a few steps. 4-3. Tigers have the lead. They've just picked up their 10th hit of the game. And we'll see if they can tack on now with only one out. And Avila looks at a strike, 0-1. Back and forth we go as these two teams have battled all night. The Tigers fell behind, but now they're back in front. Swing and a miss. Oh, 0-2 on Avila. There's action in the Detroit bullpen right now. Albuquerque the righty. Koch is the lefty. Tigers have gotten the lead for Rick Porcello. Here's the 0-2. Infield all the way in now, and that one's slow and outside as Montero goes down to get it.
Another sensational start for Porcello. Through 7 innings, he's only given up 3 runs on 5 hits. Looking for win number 13. A baker's dozen.
Looks like he's ready to hit again. 1-2. Ooh, just off the plate. 2-2 on Avila. De La Rosa wanted that one, didn't get it.
If you're Avila here, you just have to put the ball in play. You have to spread out. You have to choke up. You have to do whatever you have to do just to make some contact here.
Grounded foul. He'll get back into the dugout, first base side.
Avila got himself a hanging breaking ball here from De La Rosa and was just a little bit too quick on it. Right over the heart of the plate.
Four runs, 10 hits for Detroit. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Diamondbacks. Perez, Marshall, Ziegler, and De La Rosa tonight out of the bullpen for Kirk Gibson. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. Avila is out on strikes for the 3rd time tonight. 2 gone. You can see the Tigers battle the Chicago White Sox July 29th through the 31st. Take advantage of the weekday value pack. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 drinks, and 4 bags of chips, all for one low price. Call 866-66-TIGER. Here is Eugenio Suarez. Infield back now with 2 outs. Runners at second and third. Suarez had a single in his last at bat.
They got the base open with nobody on.
Porcello in the on deck circle.
Excuse me, they have the base open with runners on second and third and the pitcher in the on deck circle.
Now Suarez will be walked intentionally.
We're trying to force Porcello out of the game, which is good strategy for Kirk Gibson. We'll see what Brad Ausmus does, though. Kirk Gibson's hoping that he pinch hits for Porcello the way that Rick is pitching.
Ball 3 missing outside. They'll finish off the intentional walk. Rajay Davis still on the bench, and we'll see now if he will pinch hit. There he comes. And so Porcello's night will be done, but we'll see if Davis now can add to this Tigers lead.
Rajai Davis, we told you earlier, part of the quartet of outfielders that's had an outstanding month of July, and Rajai Davis does even better when there's runners on base, runners in scoring position.
So the pinch hitter Rajai Davis is announced. He will bat with the bases loaded, 2 outs. 2 runs in for Detroit. They lead 4-3. .297 for Davis.
I don't know if Davis is considering doing it, but Dave Clark just went over to whisper something to J.D. Martinez, who's on third base, probably to tell him that maybe if he drops a bunt down, you need to be ready. Look at those numbers with risks for Davis this year.
Ball 1, Montero down to block it. De La Rosa struck out Avila. Walked Suarez intentionally, and now facing Rajai Davis with the bases loaded. Here's the 1-0. Outside, 2-0. .182 against righties.
He's got that plus changeup. That's how he gets right-handers out. He does not throw that pitch to left-handed batters.
Way outside, and now it's 3-0. No place to put him. Davis in take mode. It's in there for a strike. 3-1. Jackson waiting on deck. Swing and a miss. That'll fill the count now, 3-2. And it's about to get very interesting. The runners will be on the move here with 2 outs. Rick Porcello trying to win his league high 13th. And he got him. Strike 3, caught him looking. And the Tigers will leave him loaded. However, they get 2 runs to take the lead. Torrey Hunter signals back up the middle to give the Tigers the advantage. giving them the lead now. It is a 4-3 ball game as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Tigers have a new pitcher on. It'll be the left-hander. Phil Coke will check in.
Man, 35th game this season that Coke has been in. That ERA down to 4.33 for Coke. He's been really good for about the last 6 weeks.
It'll be Gregorius to lead it off, then Inciarte, then back to the top of the lineup. Tigers have also made some defensive changes. Cabrera will shift from third to first, and Don Kelly will stay in the game and play third base.
Usually Jabba Chamberlain is the 8th inning guy for the Tigers, but we told you the last 3 days he has pitched. And so Brad may be staying away from him, and you also have a couple of left-handers, first couple of batters here for Arizona.
Well, here is Gregorius, who is 0 for 2 in this game, fly-out strikeout. 4 runs on 10 hits for Detroit, 3 runs, 5 hits for the Diamondbacks. Didi Gregorius will start things off. Each team got a run in the first and third innings. The Diamondbacks went ahead in the 6th. The Tigers reclaimed the lead in the 8th. Gregorius hits one right back off Coke. It'll roll to third, and Kelly throws him out.
Ugh.
Where did that get Coke?
He's not going to rub it wherever it got him at. Get back, he said.
Stay out of here. I'm fine. Boy, oh boy, that thing was hit like a rocket.
Did it hit it right in the gut?
I got a little padding there, he says.
Ooh.
Ouch, it did.
Hit it right in the 6-pack.
It's the second time tonight a pitcher has been nailed. One gone. Here is Ender Inciarte. Actually, that's the third time tonight we've had a ball hit right back at the pitcher as Porcello flagged down a line drive right at him off the bat of Goldschmidt.
Yeah, Ricky P's got them young reflexes.
Inciarte batting .246. Had a hit in the ball game last night, but then was picked off first base. And what turned out to be a huge play in that game. It was a 1-run game. Here's the 1-0. Two balls, no strikes on Ender Inciarte. David Peralta waiting on deck. We're in the bottom of the 8th, 1-run game. Jabba Chamberlain apparently not available tonight as Coke comes on to pitch the 8th. Here's the 2-0. He's taken 3-0. There's Peralta with a couple of triples to his credit tonight, and 2 runs scored. And the 3-0. There's a strike, 3-1. Fouled off. And Avila takes a direct hit. 3-2. May have gotten home plate umpire Fielding Culbreth as well. 1-2. Three and 2 the count on Inciarte. 1 out here in the 8th in a 1-run game. 4-3 the Tigers and the lead. Here's the 3-2. And he lost it. Ball 4. Tying run is on now.
Let's take a look at the Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game. David Peralta has been outstanding since being recalled from Double-A. He's tripled twice in this contest, both off Porcello. He tripled in the 3rd. He also tripled in the 6th inning, and he scored on both occasions.
So here is Peralta with 1 on, 1 out. Batting average now at .329. This guy's had a fabulous season offensively. He was called up in early June 1st from Double-A. All he's done is hit. We'll look at ball 1. Two and 0. He's going to bring Avila out to the mound. And he's also going to bring Jeff Jones out. By the way, as we promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag Detroit Fan Photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Right-hander Reed warming up. So with Inciarte at first base, Peralta waiting on a 2-0 pitch. Here it is. Nope. Instead, he's going to go to first. Inciarte back in there. We were talking last night about how he was picked off in a key juncture of the ball game. After the game, said he thought the count was 3-2, so he was headed to second base. It looked like he got his cleats caught in the dirt too as he was trying to get back into the bag. Boy, was it a huge play. Now the 2-0. 3-0. So it's getting a little bit sticky here now for Phil Koch in the 8th inning. He's got Hill waiting on deck, and he's already driven in 3 runs in this ball game tonight. .3-0 pitch. He lost him. Ball 4. That'll put 2 aboard now. Back-to-back walks here in the 8th. 2 on, 1 out. Tying run is in scoring position now. And again, Brad Ausmus without the services of Job and Chamberlain, who's pitched 3 consecutive nights. This normally would be his inning. Here comes Brad. You got Albuquerque warming up in the bullpen. They want to go get him. So Koch will face 3 batters and give way to Albuquerque. And as the Tigers make a change, we'll step aside.
Inciarte was a base runner at first base. Thought the count was 3-2 last night. Brian Holiday alertly came up, saw that he got off the bag too far, threw behind him. His cleats got stuck in the dirt. The tag was applied by Victor Martinez, and that was a big out in this game.
Well, the Tigers are going to need a couple of big outs in this one here tonight as Hill steps in now against Al Albuquerque. Already making his 48th appearance. 3 RBIs tonight for Hill. And he looks at strike one. Homered in the first. Sacrifice fly in the third. A ground ball knocked in a run as well in the 6th inning, which briefly gave the Diamondbacks a lead. Here's the 0-1. Way outside. Vila looked like he was skating out there to go get it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Didn't have time to get his body over in front of it.
1-1.
Aaron Hill has grounded into 13 double plays this year.
We'll take another one right here.
That's right.
2 on, 1 out. I know Avila a little bit uneasy, so he goes out to the mound. There is action in the Detroit bullpen. That'll be Ian Kroll warming up. Here's the 1-1. Fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Aaron Hill. A 7-game hitting streak now, courtesy of that home run in the first.
Austin was not happy with those 2 base on balls.
There's Goldschmidt waiting on deck. Here's the 1-2. Driven in the air to left field. Martinez is under it. Runners will have to retreat. Well, Hill is out number 2. Fans, don't forget to catch every strikeout, every game ender, every history-making moment on MLB Whip Around. It's weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Well, this will be an interesting matchup here. Paul Goldschmidt stands in with 2 on and 2 out. He is 0 for 3 in this game. Ball 1 as Avila smothers it. .310 this year with runners in scoring position. Goldschmidt on his way to having another type of campaign he had last year, in which he finished 2nd in the MVP voting in the National League. Here's the 1-0. 2-0 on Goldschmidt. Montero on deck. Low 3-0.
kind of get the feeling here Albuquerque would rather go after Montero.
Starting to look that way.
Kroll heating up in the Detroit bullpen. Albuquerque got Hill to fly out. Goldschmidt is ahead 3-0. 4 runs, 10 hits Detroit. 3 runs, 5 hits for Arizona. And he walked him. That'll load the bases. It's a 3rd walk in the inning for Tigers pitching. Now the go-ahead run is standing at second base. Here comes Brad again. They're going to bring Kroll in to take on Montero, it appears. And he'll signal to the bullpen. So Ian Kroll comes in. Another pitching change. We'll be back. Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com to see why Chevy drives to Motor City. By Wallside Windows, the official window company of Fox Sports Detroit. And by T-Mobile, unleash from the rules of wireless restrictions. This one's gotten really interesting. It's 4-3 in favor of the Tigers. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 outs, and the bases are loaded for the Diamondbacks. Ian Kroll comes out of the bullpen. So here is Montero. With the bases loaded. And a strike call. Montero's single in 3 at bats in this ball game. Batting .261. Strike called, and now it's 0-2. And Montero didn't like that last call. .319 career with the bases loaded. 3 for 11 this year. Kroll trying to make quick work of it. Here's the 0-2. Swinging a ground ball back up the middle. Inciarte scores. Here comes Peralta. He scores. Throw coming to third. Not in time. And an 0-2 pitch, a 2-run single for Montero, and the Diamondbacks lead. And 2 of the walks have come around to score.
Fastball down and away from Montero. He rips it right past Ian Kinsler. Jackson looked like he had an opportunity to throw Goldsmith out at third. Goldsmith stopped, but then noticed the throw was offline just a little bit, then able to get over to third base.
Here comes Ausmus again. So Kroll gives up the 2-run single, the only batter he will face. And the Tigers have another pitching change as Corey Knebel comes trotting in now, and we're running out of relievers. Lead now 5-4 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Fans follow every Tigers game with MLB.com and that on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download the App Store. Visit Tigers.com. Corey Knebel is on now. He is facing Alfredo Marte, who was called up today. Cody Ross placed on the disabled list. And Marte bends away from a pitch inside. 1 ball to no strikes. Second stint for Marte, batted just .227 his first go round. .326 in AAA. Swing and a miss and a big rip there. 1-1. Goldschmidt is down at third base. Montero has just delivered the key 2-run single at first. Here's the 1-1. Strike called. 1-2. Each team with a 2 spot here in the 8th. Knebel trying to keep this a 1-run game. Here's the 1-2. Popped up first base side for Cabrera, and that is going to do it, but the Diamondbacks have gone ahead. We go to the 9th inning. Arizona now will try and nail this one down.
Call now for the Tigers in a 5-4 ball game, and right now we send it down to John Keating with a little bit more on tomorrow's start.
Marlins are against the Diamondbacks tomorrow, and the former Marlin, Anibal Sanchez, will pitch for Detroit, and he has a no-hitter on his resume. It came back in September of 2006 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. In that game, his then teammate Miguel Cabrera hit a home run in a 2-0 win. So it'll be Sanchez against Miguel Montero and the Diamondbacks. It was Montero's first game in his career. He comes up only to get no hit by Sanchez. Perhaps one of those is in store for us tomorrow. We'll have more from this game from the Tigers Live Call Sam Studios with Matt Shepard and Craig Monroe. Post-game reaction coming up. Mario, Rod?
All right, Keith, thank you. In the meantime, Addison Reed, the former closer for the White Sox, will try and shut this one down for the Diamondbacks.
He's blown 5 this year. His ERA also sits above 4, so he hasn't been locked down this season for the Diamondbacks.
Austin Jackson will lead it off for the Tigers, and he looks at a strike in the 9th inning is underway. 5 runs on 6 hits for the Diamondbacks, 4 runs on 10 hits for Detroit. The Tigers, though, have left 8 men on base. Swing and a miss, and a big rip there by Jackson. He's behind in the count 0-2. Reed had 40 saves last year for Chicago, 29 the year before that. They'll get back into the seats. 0-2 the count stays. The Tigers have Jackson, Kinsler, Cabrera. They need a run to tie and 2 to go ahead. Only 6 hits tonight for the Diamondbacks. They've made good use of them, though, and a couple of big walks in the 8th inning as well. The 0-2. Low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the 1-2. Jackson fouls it away, stays alive. Austin in the ballgame tonight, singles in each of his first 2 at bats, which now gives him 5 consecutive multi-hit games, and also 8 of his last 9. It's been a big July for Jackson, who's trying to get something started here in the 9th.
Montero wants the fastball up.
In the air to center field. And Ciarte coming in, and that's out number 1. Here is the upcoming matchup tomorrow, presented by Gordon Chevrolet. Trevor Cahill, who spent some time in the minor leagues this year, is back up with the Diamondbacks. He will get the call, and Anibal Sanchez, as Keats mentioned, will go for Detroit.
We saw Cahill a few years back when he was pitching for the Oakland Athletics, and he had one of the best sinker balls in the American League. He was a ground ball thrower.
Ian Kinsler on base 3 times in this game, 2 singles, a walk. Fastball missing inside, 1 ball, no strikes.
I remember Reed throwing harder last year when he was pitching out of the bullpen for the White Sox. I thought he was a mid-90s, 96, 97. He's only gotten up to 92 here so far.
Here's the 1-0. Down the left field line. That ball is hooking, and it's a foul ball. Ooh, that had double written all over it, but he couldn't keep it fair. Reed, we mentioned last year, had 40 saves, but he blew 8 of them.
Golden Glover down the left field line, tried to make a play. Golden Glovers.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. He popped him up. Third base side and caught by Prado. 2 gone. Well,
not over yet.
Here comes the big guy. He is the last chance for the Tigers. Brad Ausmus watched the bullpen. Only tried to weave through the last couple of innings of this game with his bullpen, but in the 8th, Koch, Albuquerque, Kroll, and Knebel.
Well, Gibby
3 and 2 scored.
Gibby forced Porcello out of the game by walking. The bases loaded. Rajay Davis pinch hit for Porcello. Porcello pitched 7 innings, did not walk a batter here this evening.
And Cabrera takes ball 1. Lots of Tigers fans here at Chase Field hoping for a comeback. See if Cabrera keeps it going. And he looks at a ball outside. 2-0. Addison Reed knows that Victor Martinez is out of this game. Don Kelly is waiting in the on-deck circle. Kelly pinch running for Martinez. Back in the 8th inning. He is being awfully cautious with Cabrera here. Here's the 2-0. 3-0. And he continues to tiptoe around the Tiger slugger. And he walked him on 4 straight, so the tying run is on with 2 outs. And Reed wanted no part of Cabrera there. And here's Kelly. First at bat of the ball game for Don. He came on a pinch run and eventually scored a run. The Tigers got a couple of runs in the 8th to go ahead. 2:48 this year for Don. Bouncing ball right side and a diving stop there by Hill. Throws, pick, got him.
What a play by Hill.
It ends the ball game. A diving play by Hill and a backhanded pick by Goldschmidt. And the Diamondbacks hold on to win it.
Hill also drove in 3 of the 5 runs the Diamondbacks scored here today.
Great defensive play ends this ball game. The Tigers now even up at 1-1 in this series, with the finale coming up tomorrow afternoon.
Tigers gave this one away late. Nice sprawling play here by Hill. Looked like this ball was headed to right field. Dive, looked like he had difficulty with the exchange, but he still threw a 1 bounce over to Goldschmidt. And Goldschmidt able to pick it for the game ender.
And Reed appreciates the defense. Kelly almost got that thing into right field. That would have brought up J.D. Martinez, but the game is over. The Diamondbacks are winner here tonight. We'll be back